Hi, this is Barry here, and you're very, very welcome to today's podcast episode from WriteCome.com. And today I would like to ask you a question. What are you willing to accept? Now, when it comes to businesses, when it comes to politicians, when it comes to health or whatever it is, we all have standards that we will not accept anymore. You know, for other people, like if a politician is caught, having an extramarital affair, or whether he's, caught accepting money or bribes, or, whether maybe a business that you've been dealing with lately has been kind of shortchanging you, maybe they haven't been giving as good a product to you as they used to give to you, or whatever it is, we won't accept those things from those people. We have a high standard for them, and if they kind of break that kind of trust, or the acceptance level we have in them, that politician, if he's disappointed us, there's no chance probably we're going to vote for him again. And, we hold all these people up in pedestals that, they all have to be at these levels that, we want them to be at. And, of course, being human, most of them will kind of fall down and will disappoint us. And what they want to forgive them and, give them a second chance or whatever is totally up to you. But, those levels and those things that we'll accept from other people, when it comes to ourselves, we don't hold ourselves to as high regard. For a lot of us, we don't pay attention to, maybe keeping control of our temper. We know that having an argument with our wife or our husband going out the door isn't the right thing to do for our relationship, and yet, we still do it. Whereas if you went into a store and employee lost their temper with you, you'd say that was unforgivable, and yet, you will do it maybe to a family member. You'll probably half-arse a job, but if you hired a builder and, he rushed through it and, you paid him for the job, and then later on you found maybe cracks in the wall, or some of the stuff wasn't plastered properly or painted well, you'd be disappointed. And yet for us, we let ourselves off. We kind of maybe half hoover the room, or, we throw up a page or a blog post and, maybe it's not spell checked and, something like that. And, we half-arse it, and, to us that's acceptable, but to other people, we don't accept that. We may show up late maybe to a family event or something like that, and maybe that's something that we're always known for. Maybe we're always kind of late to the party. And, for example, maybe if you were sitting at home and there was a serviceman coming to fix your washing machine or whatever it is, and you had to hang around the house for an extra 2 or 3 hours because he was late showing up, you would say that was unforgivable, and you'd probably go into Google and give it a bad review or whatever, and you say this is awful. And yet, we don't hold ourselves to that level. We'll tell our kids that, they should do better than us, they should do better at school, and, life's meant to be lived, and all these big lofty dreams and goals that we're putting in their head, and yet we're still going to those crappy jobs and, the things that we don't like doing. And, to us, we can't even remember the last time we had a challenge, and, we've just got into this kind of monotonous and boring lifestyle, and, we're telling our kids in that one thing, and for us, you're telling them not to accept, anything less than all those things, and for us, we're doing the complete opposite. It's all because, we've set lower standards for ourselves. Even I put myself in my own case there, for a while there, I could see myself, gaining weight. I could see myself sitting down at TV, and every time I sat at the TV, I was snacking on something, and I was accepting that, I was accepting that weight gain, I was accepting the lack of results I was getting, I was accepting the box sets on Netflix and all the mindless and, empty calorie TV that I was watching. I was filling my mind with, I was accepting excuses. I told myself why I half-arsed that job, or why I didn't do something properly. I told myself lies saying, oh, well, I can't do that, and I had never tried to do it. And I never controlled maybe the days, the how I felt when I woke up first thing in the morning. I might have just got straight out of bed, had a cup of coffee, switched on the news, and, I let all that kind of negativity feed into my mind. And then I wondered why that whole day fell apart, because I started off wrong. I didn't start off with something positive. I didn't start off with kind of, meditation or something like that, or feeding good content into my head from the first moment I woke up. Straight away I shot myself in the foot, and because of that, all those days were terrible. And I'd accepted that. I've accepted all that lower standards of myself. And even preaching to people and, giving advice to somebody, sometimes we're great at giving advice to other people, but actually taking it ourselves is a different story. We say, oh, you really should do that and you should do this, and we're only kidding ourselves, because to us we wouldn't do that. And so if you're happy to accept the standards that you have at the moment, And maybe you're not happy with where your writing career is at the moment, or where your life is at the moment, and maybe with the success you're having, or maybe the money that you're making, or whatever. It's probably all due to the standards that you've set yourself. Those low standards are bringing the results you're given. Like for me, I know, like, listen to the radio. I used to drive around in the car, and I maybe somebody would trigger me in traffic, or I would hear something on the news, and that would trigger me. And I was the judge, the jury, and the executioner for that event or that person. I would mumble and I'd give out about them in the car, and that I'd grumble to myself, saying, "Oh, this should do this and this should change, and he shouldn't be let do this," and all that. And all those things angered me, and yet I had no control over anything. The only thing I had control of was the steering wheel and over my own mind. And yet I accepted those lower standards. And if you don't take in charge of the standards you have for yourself, there's only one thing you can change. It doesn't matter what you're not happy with where the world is, or what Trump's up to, or whatever any politician or government's doing, or whatever drama's going on in the news. That is totally out of your control, and there's nothing you can do about it. And as I said before, those politicians and all those businesses, they're always going to be human. They're always going to screw up. Politicians are always going to do what they want to do, and they're going to promise you one thing and do the opposite. And that it's just to know yourself about that, or to have them on these huge pedestals, and yet for you kind of living a life with lower standards and, pointing the finger, like, when in fact you maybe should be pointing the finger at yourself and accepting that, you are where you are because of what you're doing. You're the one that's willing to accept that you haven't got the time to write right now. You're the one that's willing to accept the bad review that's totally sending you in a downward spiral. Maybe you had 10, 15 reviews, but it's you that's focused on that, that one bad review, and that's the standard you're setting for yourself. That's what you're accepting. You're the one that's willing to accept an idea and, say to yourself, yeah, I'll do whatever it takes. And, maybe you haven't tried it for longer than 2 days. You're the one that's accepting, that's, telling the world and its cousins that you're going to do something, and you're not, you should say, well, for example, I could say to all the writers and authors out there, you should be doing podcasts, you should be doing this, and you should be doing that. You should set up a blog, you should set up a daily email. And yet maybe you're not doing it yourself. You're telling everybody what they should be doing, and you have a far lower standard for yourself. And I know this episode is probably a little bit heavy, and but I hope I am striking a chord with somebody here, because where you are right now is the lower standards that you have. Set a higher standard for yourself. Put out work that you're more proud of, and focus on what you can do and how you can improve, rather than looking to everybody in the outside world to make a difference in your life. Because once you set a higher standard for yourself and what you will accept from yourself, that's the only way you're going to improve, and you're only going to get better. And from those better actions, and the more action you actually do, the better reactions you'll get back, and the better kind of, the better results you'll get. But it's only by doing that you will actually get that far. So what are you willing to accept today in your business, in your life, and what you're doing right now? Maybe you're one of those people that's like, likes giving everybody the best advice in the world, but is, one of the worst people for taking it themselves. So I hope I struck a chord with you, and I hope I made you think today. And I know that since I've started to, focus on myself rather than everybody else, I know I've seen a difference in my own life and what I'm able to do now because of it. And again, the podcast came about because that was one of the things I used to constantly write in blog posts and articles saying, oh, every author should create a podcast and something like that. And, for me not to do it myself is a bit of a hypocrite. But I said, no, I'm going to, raise myself to a higher standard. I'm going to show up every day with this podcast, and hopefully I'm going to make a difference in people's lives. So I hope you made a difference in your life today. I hope you made you think of a few things. And if I did, I would really appreciate if you could share this podcast with one other person, or, go over to iTunes right now and write up a quick review and tell me what you think, and tell me what you would like to see in future podcast episodes. I would really, really appreciate it. So as always, thanks for your time today. Thanks for sharing it with me, and whatever you're doing, the best of luck with it, and hold yourself to a higher standard today. Take care. Bye-bye.